Aristotle was initiated. Plato was initiated. Cicero wrote that the Eleusinian Mysteries were the greatest gift Athens ever gave the world. For 2,000 years, the most educated men in Western civilization participated in a secret ritual they were legally forbidden to describe. Tonight, we find out what was in the room.
The Eleusinian Mysteries were held annually at the city of Eleusis, 14 miles from Athens, for roughly 2,000 years, from approximately 1500 BCE until the Roman Emperor Theodosius ordered them shut down in 392 CE. Every Greek city-state sent initiates. The Roman Empire adopted the rites. Emperors participated. The site was that significant.
The myth at the center. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, loses her daughter Persephone to Hades. She searches the earth, grief-stricken, crops fail, humanity begins to starve. Zeus negotiates a compromise. Persephone will spend part of the year above ground, part below. The mystery rites dramatized this myth, but initiates reported something beyond a theatrical performance.
The initiation had stages. The lesser mysteries in spring at Agre, preliminary purification rites. The greater mysteries in autumn at Eleusis, 9 days. On the 5th day, initiates walked the sacred way from Athens to Eleusis in a procession. By the 9th night, they entered the telesterion, the initiation hall, which held up to 3,000 people. The counter-argument from classicists, ergot contamination produces toxic effects, convulsions, hallucinations, gangrene, not mystical experiences. The road to Eleusis proposes that the Eleusinian priests developed a preparation method that isolated the psychoactive alkaloids from the toxic ones over centuries of practice. This is not speculative chemistry. Albert Hofmann was the chemist who isolated LSD from ergotamine in 1938. He knew exactly what the compound does. Beyond Eleusis, the mystery school tradition ran across the entire ancient world. The Orphic Mysteries, associated with the mythic poet Orpheus, offered a competing cosmology and afterlife map through initiation. The Pythagorean Brotherhood at Croton was a school of initiation into mathematical and cosmological knowledge. The Mithric Mysteries, imported from Persia into Rome, initiated exclusively male members through 7 grades: Lion, Persian, Courier of the Sun, Father. Plato's philosophy is saturated with mystery school language. The Phaedrus describes the soul's vision of true reality in terms that directly parallel initiation: the beholder, the sacred vision, the overwhelming light. The allegory of the cave in the Republic maps the philosopher's ascent in precise structural parallel to the stages of mystery initiation: darkness, turning, ascent, vision of the sun. Plato wasn't being metaphorical. He was describing what he knew.
The Neoplatonists of the 3rd century CE, Plotinus, Porphyry, Iamblichus, systematized the mystery tradition into a complete philosophical theology. The soul descends into matter, undergoes purification through multiple lifetimes, and ascends back to unity with the One. The mysteries were the mechanism of that purification. Not theology you believed. Theology you experienced. The early Christian church had its own esoteric dimension. Clement of Alexandria, 2nd century Christian theologian, explicitly described Christianity in mystery school terms. There is an exoteric teaching for the masses and an esoteric teaching, the true gnosis, for the spiritually advanced. He called these the mysteries of the faith. The 2-tier structure was not alien to early Christianity. It was built into it.
Origen, Alexandria's greatest theologian, 3rd century CE, wrote a commentary on the Gospel of John that contains passages so philosophically dense they were immediately flagged as dangerously Gnostic by later bishops. His doctrine of apokatastasis, the eventual restoration of all souls to the divine source, including fallen angels, was declared heresy in 553 CE, 2 centuries after his death. What survived? The Hermetic tradition, carried through Arabic scholarship and reintroduced to Europe in 1460 when Cosimo de' Medici received a complete manuscript of the Corpus Hermeticum, the Neoplatonist texts, preserved by Islamic philosophers, especially Avicenna and Al-Farabi. The alchemical tradition, which encoded initiatory knowledge in laboratory language. The Sufi tradition in Islam, which maintained the experiential, transformative dimension of spiritual practice.
The Renaissance was, in part, a recovery project. Marsilio Ficino, translating Plato and the Hermetica for the Medici. Pico della Mirandola, synthesizing Neoplatonism, Hermeticism, and Kabbalah into a unified esoteric philosophy. The Oration on the Dignity of Man, of 1486, is a direct expression of mystery school anthropology. The human being is a self-transforming entity capable of ascending to the divine.
The Rosicrucian manifestos of 1614-1617 announced the existence of a secret brotherhood of initiated scholars working to reform Europe through hidden knowledge. Whether real or symbolic, scholars still debate this. They produced an immediate, massive cultural response. Hundreds of letters and pamphlets flooded European intellectual circles from people trying to make contact with the Brotherhood. The hunger for what the mystery schools had once provided was still live, 200 years after Eleusis closed.
Freemasonry formalized the degree-based initiatory structure in the 18th century. The 33 Scottish Rite degrees map almost exactly onto the logic of ancient mystery initiation. Outer degrees of moral instruction, inner degrees of cosmological revelation. Voltaire was initiated 1 month before he died. Mozart was a Freemason. The music in the magic flute is structured around the 3 degrees of Masonic initiation. The deeper question the mystery tradition raises: is spiritual experience cognitive, a matter of belief and intellectual assent, or is it somatic, something that happens in the body and the nervous system? The mystery schools were built on the second premise. You cannot be told what the initiate knows. You have to undergo the process. That's what Rome eliminated when it burned Eleusis.
Every major religious tradition has an exoteric and esoteric dimension. The exoteric is public, accessible, institutional. The church service, the Friday prayer, the Shabbat observance. The esoteric is transformative, personal, experiential. The mystical traditions within Christianity, the Sufi path within Islam, Kabbalah within Judaism. The mystery schools were the original pure form, the esoteric path with no exoteric wrapper around it.
What the initiates saw at Eleusis, we don't know precisely. The oath held. In 2,000 years, no complete account survives. But what they reported, after the vision, in the language they were permitted to use, was consistent. They no longer feared death. Cicero wrote that the mysteries taught initiates not only to live happily, but to die with greater hope. Pindar: blessed is he who has seen these things. He knows the end of life, and he knows its God-given beginning.
The mystery schools lasted 2,000 years. They were destroyed in 140. The knowledge they transmitted, whatever it was, required initiation to access, experience to understand, and an institution to protect. All 3 were dismantled in sequence. What we're left with is the outer shell, the myth of Demeter and Persephone, the philosophy of Plato, the fragments of Orphic gold tablets buried with the dead that tell the soul which path to take at the crossroads, the map without the territory. Comment Eleusis, and we go deeper.